Hello, my friends. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It is Console Carrie here, bringing you another episode of Animal Crossing. Today we are on the island of Crumbl. If you know, you know, I've been participating in a challenge that was sponsored by Crossing Maniac. If you don't know Crossing Maniac, be sure and go check her out. I will put her link in the description. She's super fun to hang out with, and she loves to be teased, you guys. Serious. She loves to be teased. So, the reason I'm doing this video is, yeah, there's tours out there that people have done of my island, but it's the 10-minute version. So I want to give you a behind the scenes, why did I do what I did? What things did I struggle with? What things do I really like about the island? What things could I have done? And maybe that'll give you some inspiration so that you too can improve, because I really did improve on this island. The theme of this video is progress, not perfection. So when you are viewing other people's DA addresses, other people's islands, please don't feel bad if it's something you aspire to be and not quite there, because you'll get there. You will. It takes time, and sometimes things just all of a sudden click. Oh, I need to do it this way. This one piece helped me see what I was doing wrong. So it's really good to look at other people's islands and maybe get some inspiration. Now let's run through the villagers. They're all food-related names. So Lolly, Chatter, Anchovy, Marshall, Mint, Olive, Poppy, Melba, Nibbles, and Tangy. We can't forget about Tangy. Is Tangy not the best cat ever? Alright, so we're standing in front of my house here, and I customized it to be green. So it is a coffee shop, so let's go ahead and tour it. You have the choice of a coffee shop or a sushi bar. So I chose a coffee shop, and as you can see, the gyroids are in charge. Large and in charge. So I have some customers that are gyroids. I've got some coffee out. I have a gyroid that's making coffee, one that's making coffee grounds, and one that's selling the coffee. And I've got a little ink pad and pen there for you to sign your receipt. I have a modern cash register for you to pay me. And I think this build came out pretty cute. I put these signs out to show that there is more rooms related to this coffee shop. I wanted a functional coffee shop where all the rooms kind of were cohesive together. So, yeah, so here's the gyroid. He's got the coffee grinder, and then there's a bag of coffee. The bag of coffee is an item that you get from Brewster. So I'll point those out as we go along. Oh boy, I killed one of my cockroaches. I keep the cockroaches in my house to keep the villagers out. They get grossed out when they see them. And I'm too busy to entertain. I like having this refrigerator. It's for perishable items. And then these cups for serving. And then I've got this gyroid over here making the espresso from the beans. Well, that's super cute. And then we have the gyroid that is paying. I just realized we don't have any music. I'll turn some music, game music on. Alright, here is the break room for the gyroids to take a little siesta or get ready for work. I think it came out pretty cute. It is the smaller room, so I had to keep it pretty simple. But here is a wash a hand washing area. I've been talking backwards a lot today. You have to bear with me. And I haven't done a recording in a while, so I'm a little rusty. All right, so here's some little snacks they can grab, little tea. I think that's called a tea tray. And a vacuum to clean up. We've got some cookies you could grab up on the refrigerator. Here's a couple of stools and an area that has some snacks out. Coffee, of course. And some ramen, some muffins, and some fruit. We got to throw one healthy thing in there, right? A water cooler is always a good addition to a break room. And then that plant is from Happy Home Paradise. I have a lot of Happy Home Paradise items. And then I kind of took a spin off of the changing area of Happy Home Paradise where they have lockers and showers. And so keeping it simple, I just did one locker and one shower. So that's pretty cool. And I like the wood flooring and wallpaper. I think it's nice and relaxing. Then we have this vintage couch where you've got some, maybe you're studying to be a barista and you've got a little snack, a little hoagie and some french fries, some coffee, of course. And I placed some dirty dishes on the floor just to make it feel a little realistic. So that's the break room. All right, which room should we visit next? And I'm trying not to step on my pet cockroach. Kind of sneak to the left over here. There's another one. All right. First room is going to be a little book room. A little library of sorts where you can bring your coffee in here and find something to read, have a little snack. And if you run out of coffee, I've got a little espresso maker here and tried to add lots of plants. I tried to make it simple since it's a small room. You don't have to get complicated for it to feel realistic. So we've got a clock in case we have an appointment. We don't want to be late. Some music with this retro stereo. Unfortunately, I did not register any music. Next time we'll do that. A little map on the wall, a globe, stack of books. And then these are the patchwork chairs that I customized to gray. So just kind of a neutral color. Not a lot of pop, something that's soothing, relaxing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I think it was good for me to put the chairs against the wall, and then you had like this little area that you could walk around the room. I think that came out real good. So, and that little food cart is pretty cute. I think it comes in gold and brown. I'm not sure if there's other colors. And then I'm using the library wallpaper and the parquet flooring. And also an accent. I'm using accent walls as well. All right. Back to fighting the cockroach. We'll move on to the next room here. I wanted them to have a bathroom. Make it a realistic coffee shop, so each room is cohesive. So this is the bathroom. I gave a nod to Nooks with the contribution box. And it's a little shady having the short panel for walls because you can technically see people peeing. Yeah. But let's check and see if anybody donated anything. Nope. Bunch of cheapskate villagers. It is symmetrical. I do like symmetry. The reason I put a bed in here, that was kind of like at the last minute. you have to have a bed to make a dream address. Something. So I decided the most appropriate place was in the bathroom, since the rest of the coffee shop was, in fact, a coffee shop. So there's a little scoochie to use the bathroom, and I've got a toilet, another plant, and some toilet paper and a plunger. Very important. But yeah, it's pretty cute. I like how it came out. It's a little shady, since there's no really privacy. So my thought with this basket of towels and the gyroid is, like, when you go to a big city or fancy restaurant, fancy hotel, they have a valet that provides you with a warm towel and maybe some lotions or perfume or cologne. That was kind of the idea with this. So I used a pink stool to match the rest of the decor. I used these cute little sinks that have, the mirrors are kind of pinkish. So I used this mermaid chair, and I used this mermaid chair on Sterling, and I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. And then we've got some towels, some more towels on the wall. So overall, I think this came out pretty cute. I thought the brick flooring and wall were realistic to what you'd find in a coffee shop. So yeah, what do you think of my bathroom? I think it's pretty cute. And then, you could have a little siesta in the bathroom. You could. These are palm plants. And the ones in the back, I'm trying to think of the name. It starts with an M. Monstera? That might be a different one. I can't remember. But I think the plants really make it warm and cozy. All right. Where should we go next? Oh no, I accidentally went outside. Oh, you silly mini-me. Go back in. Let's go to the attic. Sorry if I'm clearing my voice a bit. Sinuses are bothering me. So this is a music room, lots of symmetry, lots of gyroids. So this is the metal and wood chair set. It's a table and chairs. And the reason that I put one in and one out is you can't sit in it when it's tucked in. So I split the difference. And then we have to-go cups. You can get those from Brewster after you progress with him a little bit. There's several gifts that he gives you. And then I've got a piano on each side with a gyroid operating it. I thought it was cute to have this particular gyroid. And then we have a gyroid that's singing. The stage is storefronts and a couple of curtains that I customized to black. But how I got it to be purple in the middle is I used the stage light, and it turned out to be purple. Not sure if you can control that lighting, but I think it came out pretty good. And then I thought it would be cute to put cushions, and then a stack of cushions, and then a gyroid, so it was level with the microphone. And a couple of guitars, a PA speaker on each side. And I do really like these plants that are in the back. And boy, I can't remember what they are. Like a sage? Can't remember what they're called. Yeah, I can't remember. If you know, tell me in the comments. I'm having a brain meltdown here. But yeah, and I like the flooring. I think it's very peaceful and relaxing. And I think it goes well with this wavy wallpaper. I don't know what it's called, but I really like this combination. And I might use it in the future. All right, one room left. Let's go downstairs. This is actually my favorite room. It's an internet cafe. It's a free Wi-Fi. I originally wanted it to be dial-up, and I put a telephone next to each tablet in the back, but I just didn't feel like it was obvious that it was a dial-up, like a throwback to the olden days. So I found this sign. And it's super cute. If you like any of the patterns on my island, when you go to the dream address, you have the option to acquire them. I left out some colorful cookies in the back there for a snack. Free cookies and green tea. In the front here, I love this Moroccan set. And so I decided to use it. I used the purple. I thought it looks good, complemented the room, and gave it some color, gave it some pop. And so I have snacks, chips and Cheetos, and then a can. This is actually a can of coffee that you get from Red. And then if you sit down, turn around, you can see my current Switch is the special edition. I forget the official name, but it's a special edition that has Tommy, Timmy, and Tom on there, and it's turquoise. It's super cute. So, and then the monitor there that you can plug in, so you can sit there. I thought this was kind of a flex to me and my fellow content creators' lifestyles. Like, you're chilling out, playing video games, eating snacks, making recordings, streaming. So they would have a bedroom like this, right? They would have a setup like this. So I did some symmetry. So there's one area on each side. And then I did add these lamps. I wasn't super happy with them. I felt like it blocked off a lot. But when I go to try to remove them, I kept removing the wrong thing. It was hard to take them down. So I just left them. They look alright. I see the cockroaches are following me. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm really happy with how this came out. There's some windows that you can look out. So let some light in. Very important. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And then I had never used the short panels before, so I did kind of an Asian peaceful theme and used those for dividers. And then in the back we have a tablet and something to drink. This is actually the Hello Kitty teapot, and cinnamon or something like that. And I think it is super adorable. I'd love to have more items like that in the game. But there's a tablet. Maybe you need to check your email and have a little snack, have a little drink, and or maybe you have a Steam account and you'd rather play your Steam games. I could have maybe put a controller. Isn't there a controller in the game? I think there is. I could have put that next to the tablet. Then we just have the same thing on the other side. A little bit different tea set. I used an Asian style tea set. It's super cute. I'd love to have one of those in real life. I don't actually have a tea set in real life, but I do enjoy tea as well as coffee. If you're familiar with my channel, I I had another channel called Coffee and Crafts, and it has been growing slowly, but I'm thinking about pulling the reins in and doing a coffee and crafts series on this channel and make it more of a what do they call that? What do they call that? A variety channel. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but yeah, making this more of a variety channel is kind of what I'm thinking of for the future of the channel. What do you guys think? Would you enjoy? I have done some arts and crafts in the past, so I know you've enjoyed it in the past. I've done some diamond painting, though I haven't been diamond painting lately. But I have some other ideas of crafts that I could bring to the channel. Is that something you guys would enjoy? Please let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback. I may do a poll at some point too, but I am thinking about what I would do. And let me know that. What crafts would you be interested in watching me do? Yeah. And then if it's super popular, then I would go back to streaming. So let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know. So with this challenge, my house, including all the villagers' houses, had to have a DIY food item. So here's my pizza. I think it's a margarita pizza, which is, in fact, my favorite kind of pizza. What's your favorite kind? I'd love to know. Everybody has different tastes. And Nooks, a nod to Nooks. Nooks Coffee. All proceeds go to Nooks. And I used these storefronts and colored them the same color as my house, green. And I made it feel kind of like an extension of my house with the pergola behind. I think this came out really cute. And then I have lots of ABD machines in case you want to spend your money here or donate some money for the cause. And I have my own little private beach here that we'll visit here in a second. This pathing was a little difficult. It's more than 9 pieces. And I love it, but if I wanted it to blend with the flowers and make it look like a garden and not have a gap in between, I had to, as you can see on the map, I had to put indoor pathing in. And so that's why I have this big glob of indoor pathing in that upper right corner. So I wasn't happy that it showed up on the map, but I think it made it look a lot better than if I had just used the path with no in-game pathing. Here's some flowers that I set down. And that's really where you see flowers in random places. That's just I was trying to fill the island with some of the small otter spaces, flowers and bushes and trees. Those are good options. And then I use these planter dividers to kind of lead you to the beach. But in all honesty, I ended up putting this here because I have a weird space underneath one of them. I mean, what do you call that? Kind of a weird space that I needed to cover up because it was 2 different designs that went together. Didn't really go together, but I kind of made them go together. Where I had pathing that was smaller stones and then a bigger areas patio type thing that was the larger stones. So yeah. So I revealed one of my secrets. I tried a few different things, but this was the best thing to cover it up. And then it kind of leads you out there to the beach. There's also a little seating area, a little cafe outside. enjoy the air. And it's kind of like candlelight, a little candlelight area. It's really pretty at night. I might do a video later of it at night, maybe a quicker video, because this is going to be kind of a long one. And this leads out to the beach, or the ocean. I should have put a couple chairs out here. That's kind of a miss on my part. And I just filled in with some trees, which makes the cafe above my house that we will tour in a few minutes, made that look more enclosed. So at the rock back here, I have a little house, or a lighthouse keepers area. And they're sitting in the chair, having a little snack, watching for ships to come in with the telescope. It's a whole thing, you guys. Then he has a green bicycle I thought made a nice addition in case he needs to get around the island. But yeah, that was the idea, is that this was the lighthouse keeper's little area where he chills out. What an easy job, huh? I'd like to have a job like that. Sit around. Well, I guess I do sit at my job, but I work hard. Alright, so this is a fishing spot. I put in, simple one. I put in a couple fishing poles that look like you're fishing in the ocean, a campfire, cooler, a couple stadium chairs. I put a pattern on those, and it's cute. Those of you who are doing Crossing Maniac's next challenge, that is one of the builds. So maybe this will give you a little inspiration. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a few items, and it gives you the effect of what's going on there in that area. I just love the sound of the waves, and I fish more at the ocean because I like being on the beach. Yeah, I think this came out pretty good. I wish we had more cooler options. I'm not sure if you can customize that cooler or not. So, I waited until the end of the challenge to do my beaches, and I was running out of time. So, if you're lost and don't know what to do with your beaches, or you have difficult beaches like skinny beaches, and you don't know what to do, you don't have any inspiration, just put some seating down. Fill it in with some seating. This log table is a good one because it's pretty big. And it just gives you the feel of a beach area. And think about what kind of things would you do on the beach. Nook is advertising his coffee over here with the placemats. And there's some fish out here. Oh, here's Mint. Let's see if we can get Mint to talk to us. It's kind of a weird ledge. I'm not sure if I can get her attention. Oh, there we go. So good to see you! Island life is so invigorating. Staying inside all day would be a terrible waste. I'll add, unless you're playing video games. So that's Mint. She's in charge of the Mint ice cream shop. So how it works is I assign 2 villagers to each build, and the build is either in between or behind them. And they are in charge of that build, and so their name reflects the build that they're in charge of. So Mint ice cream. What we're looking at here is my front yard. It's my rock garden, and I wanted to do something a little different. Everybody does the traditional octagon usually, or a path of some kind. I thought, let's do a rock garden that's kind of natural looking. I threw some butterflies in, and I kind of made the rocks look like seating, even though you can't sit on them. You can't sit on them. But I kind of made it go around the mushroom table to make it look like you could sit there. And I think the effect came out pretty well. I used some moss and some mushrooms, some mushroom log. I used this rock quarry to make it look like we've been digging for rocks. I think that makes it look real natural. Look how it came out. I do. It's very different. Then I've got a bicycle, and I have a nod to the 25-year anniversary of Nintendo. So we have the little leaf light here. A small spattering of flowers. Not very much. I think this is the mushroom stool. And then the mushroom carousel. And one of the DIY rocks. I filled the areas in with those around my real rocks. Then we have some leaf piles and a little camping chair in green, of course. And I think it fits. I think it came out really nice. I like it. Am I going to do the same thing with my next island? Probably not. I'll have to come up with a new idea. So here's the map again. And yeah, not sure why I was looking at the map, but forgot why I pulled it up. So this is a little cafe above my house. Some more seating. I use the bistro tables. The sad thing about the bistro tables is you can't decorate on them, but it does have a coffee cup there, cute little plant, maybe a journal of some kind. And then if you want to add some cream and sugar, we have that set here. I used a stall and another pattern that's coffee inspired. And some dishes if you make a mess. You can clean up, bust your own dishes. And I believe this is called the garden chair. And you can customize it different colors. I was debating what color was right. I'm not really happy with the black. It's kind of a gray. And it doesn't pop out very much. I used different patterns for the umbrellas. And one sneaky that I did that nobody caught when they were touring my island is there is a mini DIY bench back here. And it was very convenient to have it there while I was working on the island. And just more plants and trees. Make it feel enclosed. A cozy natural island. The secret in my book is to make it feel enclosed. So that's what I go for. So yeah, and then I've got the pathing up here too. I've got the bigger rock and then the pathway. And then my last... Oh, before we do that, let's check the mail. Just lolly. We'll read it later. So my last seating area is more bistro tables, but a food truck and a menu. And then I put this little table down and a couple orders. Some to-go coffee. Is that coffee? I think that's boba tea. Let's call it coffee-flavored boba. Let's call it that. But I think that came out pretty cute. I had this space and I didn't know what to do with it. And then it just clicked. Oh, a coffee truck. So that fit pretty well. It was a lot of other things before. Lots of iterations. But we have a couple cafe tables here, some more candles. And then this is access to our garden, our flower garden. So we could go this way. There's a few ways to get out of this area and view the rest of the island. We could go over this bridge, and this is the river that goes around resident services. We could also go through the rock garden, and there's a little pathway here with some flowers. I did a mum garden that you can walk through with purple and green flowers in kind of a checkerboard pattern, and I really liked that. I thought it was pretty. It did take me a while to get enough of the purple and green mums to do this. But it's more of a filler, an approach to doing a filler. So I filled this area in with some flowers. And then on the beach here, this is a butterfly garden, but I don't want to show you just yet. So let's kind of do a little tuck and roll. Let's see, should we go forward or should we go around resident services and show you that? Imposter bunny. If you know, you know, I do not do bunnies on my channel. I had a bad experience. The M word, let's just say. I don't want to say it out loud. Don't want to say it out loud. So yeah, what we're contemplating is going around resident services, or we can go forward and go around the museum. So just thinking, which way should I go? This area right here, I did a land bridge because I felt that it looked more like a sea than if I had put a real bridge here. So that was the reasoning with that. But I think this looks really pretty with the plants. You've got layering. Layering is important. So you've got some garden lights, and then the plants, and then the wheat fields behind it, and trees and flowers behind that. It's got a lot of layering to it. I don't know if you noticed too, you can see off to the left that I have a Cookie Monster flag. I found it, and it's super cute, very appropriate. And my DA phrase has something that Cookie Monster would say. If you know what his famous saying is, tell me in the comments. There is a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done. I've got a little dig spot there. But yeah, I think this was a good choice. This area around resident services was a lot of things. I started out with it being kind of a forest because I was really going for forest core in the beginning. But it was so cramped. But then I thought, ooh, this could be my cookie forest. I could put cookies in here. But it was just so cramped and cumbersome. I took all that out. And then I thought, well, how about some flowers? How about the hybrid flowers? And it was just kind of tight. I wanted more flowers to grow so that I could use them on the island. So I ripped that out. And then I thought, this is a food island. Let's put plants, food plants, crops around resident services, and it worked out really well. And then I was thinking of, in real life, the river has reeds and grass shooting up out of it, so let's use the wheat to kind of give it a little barrier. And it's something you could still fish in the river because you can still walk through. That's what I love about those wheat fields, is it makes it feel enclosed, makes it feel blocked off, but you actually can use it as a shortcut. So here are the orange pumpkins, yellow pumpkins, white pumpkins. I did that. I did all colors because you need all colors for food DIYs. Not so much the yellow and white, so I did mostly orange. So I really thought that out. We've been going for about 40 minutes. This is a long play video. Make sure you hydrate, you guys. I just had some water. So this bridge leads you to the flower garden as well. But we'll go down there later. Here are my carrots. And the villagers have kind of a farm to table situation where they can come over here and pick from the community vegetable garden and make their dishes. For example, there is a carrot salad in my pizza build. The tomatoes, I think, are the cutest one. They are the cutest. They're the tallest. I love the tomato plants. I think they're adorable. So that's my community garden. We've got KK Slider here. It's a fun day to be here. So this bridge down here goes to the airport and to my business district. We'll get there. All right, so let's go around the outside. One thing that was missed in the official tour is this mini art show. I wouldn't call it a museum, but an art show. If it was bigger, we could call it a museum. This is a little tester to see if I want to do an art museum in my next challenge. I'm kind of thinking yes. It would just be bigger and maybe more of a walkthrough. But if you've ever been to an art show, there's no chairs. You stand next to a tall table and you sip champagne. So I used the sparkling cider for this, also a seasonal item. And then I did a sprinkling of moss to make it feel a little overgrown, natural. And then this path, you can get back to here, but it's pretty much blocked off. It's definitely not a pass-through. All right, continuing on. I've got this little chair, little bench, couch actually. It's a extra long log couch, I think it's called. And that was just a filler. And then bushes and fencing, a little filler. Here is an imposter. Why am I even talking to you, Maple? Actually, for imposters, Maple's pretty cute. She's pretty cute. That's one thing I don't really like about the hotel is uninvited guests. You're invited, I'm invited, my villagers are invited, but the hotel guests, they're not really invited, and sometimes you can get some of your most hated villagers coming to your island and you can't kick them out. So probably next island I won't develop the hotel. If you like that sort of thing, if you like the randomness of who am I going to have this time, you do you. You do you. Oh, she's so long-winded. It's a short stay, but I intend... Oh, I missed it. Alright, well, we'll just move on. But yeah, if you're curious about Happy Home Paradise, it's basically the hotel on steroids. I think there's like 80 homes that you can decorate. 80 rooms. So, it kind of gives you a taste. I see why they did it. It gives you a taste of Happy Home Paradise. And here's Poppy. Poppy and Melba are in charge of the bakery. And I just love Poppy. I would 100 times over recommend Poppy as a villager. She calls me nutty. I think she kind of knows me. What do you guys think? Am I kind of nutty? I'm a little snarky. I like snarky humor and teasing, but not too much. Just a little. But yeah, she's bright red. She's super cute. I could have swear I was smelling my dad's yakisoba? Yakisoba? That does not sound appetizing to me, you guys. Yeah, what is yakisoba? If anybody knows, let me know. Educate me. But yeah, she's pretty cute. I don't know what she's doing over here. She's supposed to be taking care of the bread shop. So here we come upon the entrance of the museum. I did not finish the museum, but I do really like how I did the entrance. I have these two big stone heads that filled up a lot of space. I put cliffs around the museum to make it feel enclosed, and then trees on top of that. I think it came out pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. The museum is just so big that you can't see the top of it in normal view. So I have this cute little circular dirt path, and I use symmetry a lot. So I have butterflies and these torches. I have a weakness for the torches, you guys. I had to fight my desire to have torches everywhere. And then I put a couple pillows by the waterfalls. I just love these waterfalls. This feels so regal to me. But I started putting pillows down because the villagers, even though I have this cute little bench for them to sit on, they'd rather sit on the floor. So I tried a cushion, and it's kind of a 50-50 shot whether they use the cushion or just sit on the floor. Ungrateful little villagers. Oh, man. I have a few shells on the beach. This is my dig spot that I built for Blathers. I think it came out pretty good. It's simple, but effective. So, I like we were talking about with this wheat, you can walk through it. So it doesn't look like there's an entrance, but, and yeah, I was a little confused here for a second, but you can walk through here to get inside. Walk through this wheat right there next to the fence. So I have a dig spot, and then I have some bones from some dinosaurs that I have that I'm getting ready to study. Well, Blathers is getting ready to study, not me. I am not an anthropologist. Isn't that what it's called? I think so. So I got a little stool here for Blathers to sit at, a little typewriter, make some notes, light, because you all know he works till all hours of the night. And then I used the bug cage as like his specimens that he's studying. And I've got some papers on the floor where he's made mistakes and got mad and threw paper on the floor. And then we've got some books over here and a microscope so I can study my bugs. And this is actually a workbench on that far right side behind the stool there. That's it's like the weathered version of the iron, I think, the iron DIY bench. And then we've got some specimens here, the tarantula and the C+ fish. That's what I call it. Oh, man. I think it's a bass. Then you come out here, and I've got this little area. I use the stones to block off a little eating area for Blathers. And I tucked the chair like I talked about before in my house. One in, one out, so that you can actually sit in one of the chairs. And then behind us is the entrance to the butterfly garden. This was a very narrow beach, and I had a really hard time with what to do with it. And I came up with this idea of having a butterfly garden. So we got butterflies at the entrance. And then we have a smattering of lights and wheat, fields and flowers and trees, and rocks. When I say rocks, I mean the DIYs of rocks. I use those. So, and this sign is just gorgeous. If you come to my island, you can steal my coats. So if you like anything on the island and want to visit, I've shown the DA a couple times, and I'd love for you to visit. Speaking of visiting, one of the other reasons I'm doing this channel is I want to introduce to you that I want to start touring other people's DIYs. I have 128 subscribers. My goal is to hit 130, my next goal, and I would love to get to know you guys through your islands. So if you would like to submit your DA address, I would love to tour it. But how? You might ask, how, Carrie? How can we do that? Did you know I have a Discord? Did you know? Are you on my Discord? I am going to put a link in the description for my Discord so that you can share your DA with me, be part of my team, and it's not a big Discord, so it's not one that's dinging you all the time. It's pretty chill. I may say good morning at times or share with you what I'm doing. There's a few things on there you can do to share. But I want to get to know you guys through your islands. I would love it if I had 123 islands on my on my Discord to tour. I have one. This one, and then I have one more that I will tour on my next video of this series. But make sure you hurry, because those Discord links expire quickly. But no worries if you end up in a situation where you watch this video later on and that is expired, just shoot me a comment. I look at every comment. I really do, you guys. I appreciate you. And I want to know what you're thinking. But please, positive vibes. So there's some rules if you want to submit your DA. No gutter content. G-rated. This is a clean channel that's suitable for children. So no vulgar, suggestive names or content items of any kind. That would disqualify you. That's number one. Number two, you got to join my Discord, right? To be able to submit it. Number three, I would like you to be a subscriber, because I'm trying to get to know my subscribers. And then number three would be if you want to give me a little summary of your island with your DA submission. You could also take a picture of the map. And if there's a specific feature that you want me to look at, maybe mention that in your little description on the Discord. And that's all under the DA Tours channel on my Discord. I would love it if you participated in this. If I don't get enough submissions to keep me going with the series, then I will tour I'll tour some random islands. And that gives us all some inspiration as well. So this is a little filler area back here. Cherries. And then my lilies of the valleys and a little flex that I'm a 5-star island. And this is where the airport is. I've got this big waterfall and then an area to sit and wait for all of you to come in, because it does take a minute to wait for people to fly over. Alright, so I left this space open as an entrance to the campsite. I have a beach campsite, and I had a hard time figuring out where to put the sign. I think this works. We got a bottle on the right off the bat. Oh, my pockets are full, of course. Of course they are. I've got a hot mess in there. We'll just leave it. So I have this little windy path that goes around this beach area. Some tents, campsite. Here's Lolly. Cooking apparatuses. Hey, Lol. Good afternoon, Bonbon. Let's talk. This weather is just perfect for a stroll around the island, isn't it? Boy, they sure like the weather today. So I have the main campsite. I don't have anyone visiting today. Little seating area. I think this came out pretty cute. I originally had the campsite to the right, and I just didn't like that. I wanted it to be more symmetrical. This is an outdoor cooking apparatus. And I used the carp on a cutting board DIY, make it more realistic. And then we have a little community area where we can sit and eat together. There's a picnic basket and some fruit. Got to throw those healthy options in there, right? I really wanted to use the marshmallow campfire, but I just couldn't find it. I thought you could customize it with the nice item, but you cannot. That's not how it works. Then I have this little stump here and another cooking area to make my DIYs. It's good to have those stumps if there's certain bugs that you need to catch for the museum that like to sit on the stump. And it's a place to sit. Alright, so that bridge goes to the neighborhood, but we're going to backtrack here. What I wanted was, I wanted all the buildings to be in the front. So if people visit, they don't have to traipse through your whole island to do business with you. So I wanted Nooks and Abel's and the campsite to all be up front here. Easy access. And it's nice to be able to see whether there's be reminded that there's a villager at the campsite. So I'm doing kind of a forest core thing here with lined up trees and a long driveway that goes back to the business. This one is Able Sisters, and there is a little area here that I didn't get to that I was thinking maybe putting some tables, picnic tables down here or something for them to hang out outside, or maybe an outdoor sale with some clothes, but I just didn't get around to it. Three months isn't a long time to finish an island, but I did it. Yeah. So we'll skip this middle water feature, and then we'll go to Nooks, I think. Nooks has the same situation, a long driveway that feels enclosed. So I really like how this came out. So back here we've got an ABD, and then a storage. And sneaky, I've got another DIY table right here, which you can't see behind the cliff. And here's Nooks. Let's see what they're selling today. Got some pretty good items. Got a bottle. Bottles, I would have liked that. I think this is another imposter. So this is a low screen. I have never used this low screen until this island. I thought, why on earth would you use this? I just don't understand this at all. And then I found a purpose for it. So, never say never. It's not very much, about 800-900 bells. Then we've got a bakery counter and a divider. I believe that's the Imperial set. And then we've got these bottles, and I keep accidentally clicking on them. Probably driving Timmy nuts. So trying to talk to the bird and I keep turning. I'll get it. Gotta stand right in front of the bird. I'm not sure who this is. I think this is Robin. I was thinking about... Oh, I did it again. Oh my goodness. You're fired, Mini-Me. Okay. Oh, we did it! Tourist. You're a local, aren't you? Yeah, I'm the mayor. Your name's Robin? It's a favorite part of your travel? Sounds like she likes singing. Alright, let's get the heck out of here. Alright, so this area was connected behind Nooks, and then it wasn't. I had a music area back there, and then I put these trees, and I think the trees look good. So I just need to figure out what to put up there. Alright, so this is the water feature in between. We've got just a 3x3 waterfall. You don't have to have a big space to do a waterfall. So one on each side, made it pretty regal. And then these are the birds of prey plants. They're a 3.0 item and I just love them. So this area was kind of a seating area. And then I really love the code on here. It's very bright, cheery concrete floor. And this was the first time I used this water fountain. But it's an area to sit and enjoy. And I went with an Asian theme and put some cherry blossom plants and items here. I've got a few flowers back there. Some lighting. This bench goes with it pretty well. I like doing the garden bench in white. Then over here is a little work area where maybe you're growing the plants. Got a stack of soil, potting soil. A little overgrown with roses. But got our little plants, our little starters. I have some more mature plants over on the side. I should have put another one to fill the space. But you don't have to fill every inch of everything. But yeah, I learned that you can sit here. Did you guys know that? I had no idea that you could sit here. So it's about 5 seats. Good amount. I feel like I did a lot better with the spacing on this island. That's my weakness. I always want everything to be too big and then there's not enough room for everything else. There's symmetry here too, so I've got a little workspace over here, a little bit different. Got a chainsaw to manicure the trees, keep things up to snuff. But I think it's cute. I think it came out really well. This is one of my favorite spots. Just ignore the weeds. I need to clean all that up. Alright, so now we're going to visit the town. I originally started out with, I wanted, what did I want? I wanted to have a big lake in the middle of my island and have tree houses all the way around. And the spacing, I spent a month on that, you guys. So really, I did this island in 2 months. Because the first month, I was just on the struggle bus. I was trying to make that work, and I was just like, I'm not going to have any room left over if I do it like this. And so that's why I got rid of all of the rivers, except for what's around resident services, and just made a little waterfall in front of each inlet because I wanted the room. That's why I did it. In hindsight, I kind of regretted that decision. So I ended up doing a town core feel for the villagers. And I think I mentioned that I assigned 2 villagers that are food related to a build. So the first one is Chatter for cheese. And as you might guess, he's in charge of the pizza shop. He's a mouse. I don't usually get the mice, so really outside my comfort zone. Each villager has a little mailbox. It's actually the mini library, but I think it looks like a mailbox. So each one has one. Does it look better this way, turned? I don't know. Is one more realistic than the other? Maybe on the side. But this is how I have them. And then they have their own picture. Did I get those vanilla? Heck no, not in 90 days. I went to a treasure island and grabbed them. I'm a cheater, pumpkin eater. So in the backyard, very small, but you've got a trash can back there. A little area. Each house needed to have a DIY, so Chatter and Olive have bread and some kind of flatbread. Probably olive bread. And this is a build of my own that I put here as a filler. It's a cheese and wine shop. And there's actually a vineyard across the street. And we got some wine bottles with their own label. I used a cork pattern for the stool, and I thought that looked really good. And then that's all. Those are storefronts and panels back there with some codes attached to it. And then a gyroid, of course, is in charge. He's kind of annoying, but I thought he was appropriate. Crazy hair. And then just for a nice touch, I put the hydrangea, because hydrangeas you'll see they're in the vineyard. But if you didn't know, if you pluck a flower and then you place it, it'll put it in a vase for you. So that's kind of cool. And the barrels, you could imagine that they're full of wine. So this is Olive's house. Olive's on pizza, right? She's got the same situation with a trash can in the back, a little yard. But she has a storage shed, and that was really convenient while I was working on the build. And got some grass to make it feel, wheat fields that make it feel like grass. And then this is the vineyard. So I used the grape hat to make it look like grapes growing. And then I broke it up with hydrangea flowers. And in between each row, I have a fence and hedging. Is this my idea? No, it's not. But sort of. Like, I took the idea of the grapes and the bushes and I made it my own. So, different way of doing it than the original person did it. I don't even remember who it was. And then we walked through a pergola. It was a nice filler for this area, and it fit well with the wine and cheese shop. But this was not part of the build. This was just a unique build. Chowder and Olive are actually in charge of the pizza shop, which we will be visiting soon. And we've got some little areas on the beach, some cheese and wine, both seasonal items, and it's actually sparkling apple cider. I used the wheat to kind of divide the seating areas. I like doing that. And this over here was just cheese. Maybe they didn't feel like having wine. Maybe it was early in the day. Maybe they're trying to cut back. And then the next section is a smoothie shop. They're peach smoothies to go with the peach orchard that we're about to see. And then a little seating area. This beach was kind of narrow, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just put some wheat down and some log stakes and flour, and I think it's cute. It's a little walkway. I could have maybe put a path down, and that would have made it look a little more cohesive, but I like it. All right, moving on. Here's the peach orchard. Did I get lost? I got a little lost there. Okay, so this path is continuing on. Whenever it's in the orchard, it's a dirt path. Whenever it's in the town part of the townies, it's the brick path. So in front of the peach orchard, we've got a little seating area with peach pies and peach tarts. Yum, yum. And we got the little ladder there. Out here was just a filler. So I put down a log couch. Is that what they call it? I think so. A little log couch. So walk through the peaches and we find the pears. I didn't put anything right here because I knew it would be blocked by the trees. So I didn't fill in that space. I could have put something there, maybe some flowers, but I didn't. And then the ladder is blocking me from going straight down. And there's actually fencing between the orchard and the beach that you can't see. So here's some pear and some pear pie. Has anyone ever had a pear pie? That just sounds a little odd to me. You can technically go through this wheat. A little shortcut. And here is the pizza shop. I wanted to have a seating area. And so let's kind of backtrack. So I thought it would be fun to have like a zigzag pattern. So we come down here, we switch back this way, and then here's the pizza shop. So we got a jukebox, we've got some seating, some pizzas, plants. This little plant divider gives a little privacy. And then we've got some seasonings, Parmesan cheese and peppers, whatever you like to put on your pizza. And then this was kind of a nod to Stacy over at Crossing Maniac. A soda, cola, because she loves to drink Coke. And who doesn't love Coke with their pizza, right? And then a little busing station there. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I didn't use the typical pizza oven. I wanted to do something a little different. So this is what I came up with. So I found this cute little pizza sign, and then contribution box. All things go to Nook. Little Nook label. No, nobody's deposited. This is kind of a honor system. Contribute for your pizza, but there is a cash register. And then this is the salad bar right here. That's why I use 2 different colors of counters. And you can get in here through the wheat fields. Be the little cashier guy. And then the salads is carrot salad and a garden salad. And then we've got where we can grill our pizzas. We've got over here where we could grill our pizza. Maybe make the crust, since that's like a tortilla thing on top. Yeah. And then when they toured my island, nobody got my joke that there's a freezer behind the counter. As in, I'm selling frozen pizzas and passing them off as the real thing. Sometimes people just don't get my humor or don't catch it. It's a sneaky, sneaky hidden thing, I guess. Yeah, selling frozen pizza. Can you imagine if somebody actually did that? They'd be in so much trouble, probably. I mean, if they advertise that it's fresh. So this is the area that was the music area, and it just kept getting smaller and smaller. So I think it looks good with these trees here. And Melba seems to like it. And I put the wild log bench here. A couple of rocks for some aesthetics. How's it going, Melba? Good afternoon, Toasty. Oh, the weather again. Do you have laundry? I don't think I have a laundry thing for her. So this is Melba's house back here. She's got a mailbox here. And her picture. And she's got a little backyard here too. And you can actually get through here to the garden, but I don't recommend it. Some orange flowers to match your house. And then since they're in charge, Melba and Poppy are in charge of the bread shop, I have them with a little farm of their own, wheat and sugarcane, that they use fresh, process fresh for their products. And her DIY is the pancakes. And then here's Poppy. She's got a red mailbox to match her house. Here's her picture, little red flower. I tried to be color coordinated. And then her DIY is a basket of bread. Yum yum. Who doesn't love bread? I was using those storefronts for the houses to make them look a little bigger. What do you think? Does it look goofy or does it look realistic? Right now we have the apple orchard and we've got some apple jam. I'll walk through here. Same situation. And the ladder's blocking the way, but oh, sneaky, sneaky. Did a little scoochie to get past that. So we got cherry jam, my favorite. That is my favorite jam. What's your favorite jam? What is your favorite jam? Do you like jam? Do you like crumpets and toast? Crumpets and tea? So here's the bread shop, and I'm super proud of this. I really love how it came out. You got a little contribution box. Let's check it. Nope. Cheapskates. So you can weigh whatever you want to buy to figure out how much to charge. And I am having a 50% sale off on orange sliced bread. And then back there we've got drinks. If you want to grab a drink with your snack, a refrigerator, stove, microwave. It's got everything you could need. This rock is in the way from me getting back there. We could move it temporarily. We'll move it out just to illustrate. So you can come back here and work for Melba and Poppy. I should have put muffins here because of poppy seed muffins. Yeah, cute. Super cute. I liked this sign, this code for the bakery shop. It's really nice. And then we've got some bread you could grab and put in a basket. And we've got a little one table. I had a couple tables before and I had to do a whole realignment thing for other bills around it. That's going to happen. And so I had to kind of scrunch it down to one table. But it's okay. It still looks okay. That's pretty typical when you're designing. You know, you start out with one space and then borrow a little bit here, borrow a little bit there until you figure out the balance. So this area back here is my bamboo cookie forest, where you find a picnic and some cookies. I really like this code for the blanket. And then I just did white pillows, white cushions. And then to the left is Anchovy's house. Anchovy and Nibbles are in charge of the fish market and the sushi bar and restaurant. Sushi bar and restaurant. So he's got, looks like a dab here that's been grilled up. They have a freezer as well. So not fresh sushi. Ew. So this is the bar. The little stools. Kind of tucked. I liked how the trees kind of framed it. And then this is the restaurant. And here's where I used the low screen. And it kind of frames. It's a small item, but it kind of frames off the seating area. And I thought this yellow counter looked perfect for this. And it ties in with the yellow behind there, the yellow storefronts. And we've got donations, the piggy bank, telephone for deliveries. And then I'm using this as kind of a fondue centerpiece. Or maybe it's a big pot of soup. And then you can sit down on your cushion. And it has a coat on it as well. With some flowers or something. It looked kind of Asian to me. It might not even be a coat. It might just be a customization. But we've got some lights back there. And then I filled in this space behind with just flowers and bushes, etc. Weeds. And then you kind of shimmy between these two bamboo trees. And we come upon... Oh, are we gonna... Oh, there's a little seating area over here. A little more private. Maybe you're on a date. A little candle. And then here is the peninsula. Let's look at the beach. Here's another fishing spot. Maybe they fish and then sell to the market. That was kind of the thought behind it. And then we looked at this. So yeah, I had the fish market in the middle, and I had it where I wanted a big food market too, and it just didn't fit the theme. So I took all that out and I put a small fish market here on the peninsula. So we got a DIY table where we take our orders, some fish, some samples of what's come in. We got a little shed for them to keep extra stuff in. Some baskets. They want to fill it up with fish or bring their own fish. And if they need money, they've got an ABD here. The reasoning behind putting the wheat in front of these panels is when you put a code down like this, sometimes it repeats itself. And so I was trying to hide the second fish market notation, and it sort of does. If you tip the camera down, it kind of hides that. So that was the idea with that. And just some hanging fish. I really love this code. Alright, so here's the reasoning with my fish market. You come up, maybe you have your own fish, you weigh it, you get a facts of what it weighs, how long it is, what it's worth. That's like your scale ticket. And then you come up with your fish to the register and pay for it or get paid. That was the idea. I thought it was pretty clever. And then we've got a little diving suit here if you want to go diving off of the peninsula. Okay, now let's go to the beach behind the fish market. It's similar. Oh, I forgot about Nibbles. Nibbles is right here. He's got a fish fry for his DIY. Not a lot of room here, so not much to speak of. I did have a sign there, but I ended up just putting his picture there. So I'm using the circular path. This is kind of a play on the butterfly garden, but not actually butterflies. More rocks and wheat and flowers, that kind of thing. Just a little path that leads you back here. Another mushroom table with fish. Another eating area. And some towels if you want to lay out in the sun. Some drinks. I believe that's an iced coffee and then a melon soda. Then we've got the pond item. It's a Miles item, I believe. And some sandals. The rocks to kind of frame out an area where you're swimming. And then either a diving or a changing area out in the middle of the ocean where the whole ocean could see you. Little faux pas. Alright. But I liked how it kind of cut up the rock area. And then there are stairs right here that we continue on with the townies. This is my lollipop shop. Part of the candy shop. And I use the festival items. I use some moss items. And then the lollipops. forget how I got the lollipops. It might have been from Red. A little wheat for grass. There's a little seating area. And I love these lighted palm tree shaped things. They do take up some room, but they look small, but they're not. Yeah, so you can get your lollipop there. And of course, Lolly is in charge of the lollipop shop. I think we already talked to her though. And her DIY item is a smoothie. I think it's a coconut smoothie. And then you go up the stairs, and here's the other candy shop. So this is Marshall, as in marshmallows. He is in charge of the candy. We got some moss seating, some cookies for his DIY. We have a 3.0 item, these hydrangea plants in the corner. Nice filler item. Lots and lots of bubblegum, popcorn. This gyroid is selling chocolates. You get the chocolates from HHP. And then a cotton candy machine. I originally had a cotton candy farm up here, and it just felt really tight for the space, so I changed it up. I also am using the frozen partitions to kind of camouflage the cliffs, and I thought that was a cool effect. Right, so this leads you back to the secret beach. There's stairs that go up and down. A little area to sit. See if I can sit on it. Look out at the ocean. I just love this space. It's simple, but super cute. And I had all kinds of other things back here as an iteration of builds. I had a garden back here. So many changes. Did not look at all like it does today. But I'm really pleased with what it ended up being. So we can go through the gazebo. Here's a flex of lilies of the valley. This is my bamboo area. A little area to sit down. There's a little snack. Bento box. A vintage bike back there. And then we continue on the path. Go across the bridge. That whole bridge situation is symmetrical as well. And the orange house, you guessed it, this is where Tangy lives. Tangy's got her own mailbox, her picture. She is in charge of the smoothie shop, where she sells orange smoothies. And then she shares her space with Mint, who sells mint ice cream. And the build is just above us. We'll get to it in a second. But I thought it was cute using the orange slice table for Tangy. And she's got an orange smoothie over there for her DIY. And this is like a blood orange alcoholic drinks or something. More stadium chairs, an orange pattern from Mabel's, and in the middle, a little cash register, to-go orders, and then to the right here is Mint's area. Mint has let's say it's a mint smoothie. Let's just say. You can't prove it isn't. And then she's got like the syrup that she uses for her ice cream, because let's be real, ice cream isn't always ice cream. A little hammock, green, bamboo, garden table. And I love this little canopy as you go up the stairs to the ice cream shop. We've got some counter chairs here to sit out. kind of in random positions. And then we've got some ice cream lights in the front. We have kind of opposite. The mint is on the left and there's a blender for this orange smoothies on the right. But I really liked this as well. So we have the fresh orange orchard up here. It is not included down in the rest of the orchard. It's separate, a separate orchard, but not duplicated. Here's some milk. And then a lot of people miss this, but there's actually a little sneaky entrance to work here. You go through the orchard, through there. You could serve up some ice cream. I'm using the vintage ice cream case in the back and then a modern one in the front. So yeah, you could stand here and serve people. I am dressed for it. And then you can come over here. But the buck stops there. That milk crate is in my way. Now you know the secret to being an employee there. Of course, we have a balloon. And this brings you down to the garden. And I have a little floating bath area here where you can take a little sauna. I don't think I put any music in there, but my bad. I ran out of time. So now that brings us to the flower garden. It butts up against the cookie forest. So we have some gold roses here and more butterflies. And I added the bee house. I thought it made a nice natural vibe to it. And I did the bee houses in different colors. A little variety. And then here is some sugarcane and wheat, because I wasn't able to fit that into the farm, community farm around resident services. So I just put a couple little strips over here. You really don't need a lot of wheat and sugarcane for cooking. It goes a long way. Unless you're like making sugar cookies. But even then, it doesn't use a lot. And here are my hybrid flowers. They're not 100%, but they're pretty close. So here's the pink flowers. Butterflies really love the flowers, so if you need butterflies, that's a good way to do it. And here's my purples. And my blues. We got a little pathway and fencing between. And my orange is kind of tucked back here. And like I said, I didn't want just one. I wanted to be able to grow them and use them in the island. This will come in handy for my next challenge if I need to bring any flowers over. And then back here, this is a filler area. I didn't finish it, but it's close enough. I put a tractor here, silo, some leaves, a couple trees. I think it's alright. It gives it the feel that it's a farm. I should have put dark dirt right here, but I think I ran out of time. And we're back to resident services. So let's take a look at the map again. There's the DA address. if you would like to tour it on your own. Walk you back to the airport. I think we have covered everything in a little slower fashion in the long play video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed kind of the backstory of how I developed it. And there's a good shot of my flag, the Cookie Monster. My name is in fact Cookie Monster, and I live on Crumbl. Because that's the way the cookie crumbles. Alright, so I do plan on doing a DA series. I hope you can participate on that. I have already started the next 90-day island challenge. It's called The Great Escape. And it has been released over on Crossing Maniac's channel. She has a trailer for that. And I am starting to plan. I'm really excited about my plans for that island, and I hope you're able to watch. I'm going to do an update as I go kind of style. Not regular playthroughs, but probably each week. Either with a short or a video, I will give you an update so that you can see the development of the island. I think that would be cool. I'm also planning on pulling in a coffee and crafts series to this channel. I've done some art in the past. I was doing diamond painting mainly. If there's a craft that you're interested in that you would like to see me do, please let me know in the comments. And do you like the idea of this being a variety channel? Stardew is still in the mix. I've been experimenting with some different ideas, and there will definitely be a farm coming in the near future. I know a lot of my subscribers are Stardew fans. Alright, so didn't mean to do that. Let's take one last look at the map. And thanks for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope the channel continues to grow. And as always, I will see you on the flip side.